trying to do with Inspire was to gather as many people as we could from the academic industry working on NSP enzymes, on fibre, both from a bread making perspective, from an animal perspective, from a human gut health perspective.
And to try and understand from our perspective in the animal agricultural field what the problem factors with fibre are and how we can address them using enzymes.
When you talk about phytases and phosphorus, the people are very obvious. When you talk about NSP enzymes and fibre, it's not an obvious grouping of people.
Because this field, unlike phytase, is very, very specialised and doesn't have the same volume of research going on that you see in the phytase market.
So we wanted to try and gather those people, get them to know each other.
To give us an idea of whether we're missing something at the moment and get some consensus of what the major problems are, and therefore try to provide a basis on where we should be going in order to provide more effective solutions into the future.
It's just great looking out to see such a massive spread, a variety of individuals from lots of different countries and lots of different backgrounds.
So day one is really to introduce the background on the substrates that we're talking about, so cereal cell wall material.
And there we get a much more dramatic phenotype.
Session 2 is looking at how that interacts with the animal, whether it's positive or negative, because it can be both. And then session 3
we'll sort of wrap that all up into the solutions for enzymes. So how can enzymes help us combat some of those problems? How can they give us beneficial materials in the gut? The reason we felt we needed a scientific committee was to make sure that we had as little bias as possible in our agenda.
The scientific committee, when I look at it, was selected based on background and current expertise.
I think they tried to look for a specific expertise with regard to substrates, with regard to fibre, with regard to animal nutrition, human nutrition. And as part of the committee, I helped define the program.
A good thing about this conference is that it involves academia as well as industry, and I think those two things are actually quite complementary.
Difficult topics require insight in a lot of different areas. Science can only progress if you have people with different backgrounds coming together and sharing knowledge.
Differences that the industry is certainly interested in.
We'll come up with solutions that actually make a difference. So that it's good to do science, it's even better to do science that has application.
I think the Inspire conference is a very good forum for discussion.
And that really gives people in R&D like myself a lot of new impetus, new ideas for what to do next. The whole talks were all of good quality.
They've given me many different ideas, projects that I never would have initiated without this conference being held in the first place. So in that regard, it's been a catalyst. I don't have any paper that I thought I didn't learn something from.
However, we also have substrates, maize for example, which has very low viscosity already, and yet xylanases work.
I'm hoping that the scientists in the room, industry in the room will come together and will help us really promote the use of enzymes in animal feeding that give us an advantage and understand the mechanisms, understand the benefits that are derived. In the future, in terms of feeding the world, we need to know how to do things better.
I think one of the biggest enjoyments I got out of this was to listen to people coming from different areas, different disciplines.
It's been a great conference for getting a direction for the future and on enabling people to network really effectively. The papers have given us a lot of clarity on what we do know and what we don't know. So I think as a collective, we have a new direction. We have a lot of questions we want to answer. And I think we've got a momentum and a will to try and make it happen.